Timothy McCree Johnson's mother. I stand today 1 year, 7 months, and 10 days since Timothy's murder with the same resolve and fortitude of faith as I have since day one. Humble, strong, and trusting in my faith in God. I wanted to declare that what we have achieved in this wrongful death case in 590 days is unprecedented, and it is a miracle. We have witnessed the firing of the white ex-Fairfax County police officer and the death of a black unarmed man. We have had to request a special grand jury indictment. We have gotten a speedy trial, and all of the instances that have come up against us since this case and this trial began, up until today's jury verdict. All of this in only 590 days. Together we stand for justice for Timothy. And today we accept the jury's verdict. I want to acknowledge that most black and brown families who find themselves in the same situation do not get this far. And on behalf of Timothy's father, Mr. Walker, Timothy's 3 children, Isaiah, Marcel, and Sanaya, and all of the people across the world that have been praying with me, for me, and over me since the beginning of this tragic incident, I want to humbly say thank you and hallelujah to Jesus. I want to thank Mr. Steve Descano, his team, and especially Miss Kim, Miss Tyler, and Miss Jenna Sands, who kick butt and take names later, who pulled this case together as a team in only 1 week. And so we may want to poke blame at all the nuances and the missteps and the mistrials, but they had 1 week to pull this together, and I thank them. I am appreciative to the commitment that the Commonwealth has shown to do what was right, even when it was an election year, and even when doing so meant poking the Blue Hornet's nest. Today's verdict has provided Mr. Shiflett a second chance, a benefit that my son, Timothy McCree Johnson, was not afforded. My prayers are with Mr. Shiflett and his family. As they have had to endure this, so have we since day one. And although nor him or his family have offered any condolences toward me or our family, I want to say that I forgive him and I have no malice in my heart toward him. He knows the truth, and that is between him and his maker. And lastly, I want to thank the media. I'm not going to call names because I don't know everybody, and I don't want some people that I just met to be slighted, but I want to thank you because I have felt seen, I have felt considered, and I have felt supported by the news articles, by your reporting, and by what you have written and broadcast across your stations. So thank you for helping us keep Timothy's life seen. He's not a statistic. He's not a statistic. He is a son. He is a father. He is a man, and he is loved. And so thank you for allowing me to provide comments. I'll turn it over to Mr. Descano. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I have a lot to say, and I will take questions, but I have some thoughts I want to read. I want to make sure I get this right. Before I do talk about what happened in court today, I want to take a moment to thank the Johnson family, Timothy's family, for putting their trust in us and the justice system. We've been in close touch over these last 2 years, and I know how deep their pain is after losing Timothy. Earlier today, Wesley Shiflett was found guilty of recklessly discharging a firearm on the night that he shot Timothy Johnson outside of the Tyson's Corner Center Mall. I hope it gives the Johnson family some closure to know that they are not alone in seeing that Mr. Shiflett did not act in accordance with the law that evening. But the outcome of a single case doesn't mean that we can overlook the inequities that persist in our justice system. Unfortunately, we have a two-tiered system of justice where some people's lives and liberties are worth more than others. And certainly, there are still institutional barriers to holding law enforcement officers accountable when they break the law. Among other things, Virginia law permits officers, but not prosecutors, to present evidence to a regular grand jury, giving more power to police at a critical stage of prosecution. Also, the criminal code provides a level of deference to police officers that is not provided to other individuals. I want the people of Fairfax County to know that whether it is in the community, in the courtroom, or in the halls of power in Richmond, we will continue to fight for a fair and just system that meets the needs of all of our community members. And to that end, I want to thank the team who worked with me to get this result today. You see two of them behind me right now, in Ms. Jenna Sands and Mr. C.J. Kim. I'd also like to thank Ms. Nathina Tyler, as well as Mr. Barry Zweig, who did a lot of work on this case as well to get this result. Who has questions?
I mean, thoughts on a split verdict? Obviously, involuntary manslaughter carries one thing, knowing that it's not guilty. To you, is this justice served?
Well, I think, I think in a very real way this is. Actually, real justice would be if Timothy was alive. That's what justice would be. The criminal justice system cannot do that.
Yes.
What it can do is hold people accountable when they break the law. And that's exactly what happened today. So I do think within the confines of the criminal justice system, this is what justice looks like. But of course, that's not true justice, because if we had true justice, Timothy would be standing with us right now.